China angrily criticized the U.S. for pressuring Beijing in its relations with Russia. The Russian Foreign Ministry summoned the ambassador to expel an Austrian diplomat. Switzerland reaffirms its commitment to promoting the peace process in Ukraine. Russia sent military trainers and air defense systems to West Africa. China recently became angry and harshly criticized U.S. officials for pressuring Beijing in its relations with Russia, while Moscow continues to conduct a special military campaign in Ukraine. The recent tense relationship between Beijing and Washington stems from U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell's accusation on April 9 that China and Russia have built an increasingly close relationship based on common dissatisfaction with the West and America. Mr. Campbell also warned China that its relationship with the U.S. will be affected if Beijing continues to strengthen ties with Russia, as Moscow now poses a significant threat to U.S. interests by endangering peace and stability in Europe. In response, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning at a press conference on Wednesday, April 10 in Beijing emphasized that China has actively promoted peace negotiations to end the Russian war. Ukraine. On the Ukraine issue, China has always taken an objective and fair view and played a constructive role in actively promoting peace negotiations. China and Russia have the right to conduct normal cooperation. Such cooperation should not be subject to outside interference or restrictions, Ms. Mao Ning declared. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman further warned, China will not accept accusations and pressure. If some countries really care about peace and want to end the crisis soon, they should think about the root causes of the crisis and do something that really helps bring peace, instead of dumping blame China. For his part, Mr. Campbell said the U.S. has told China clearly and transparently about the price it will have to pay for supporting Russia in the Ukraine war. The point we are trying to make to our Chinese partners is that this is in our strategic interest. We know what's going on. We told China directly, if this continues, Beijing cooperates with Moscow, it will affect the U.S.-China relationship. We will not sit back and say everything is fine, this is against our interests. The Russian Foreign Ministry summoned Austrian ambassador to Moscow Elmhofer and declared that he considered a Vienna diplomatic official persona non grata. Austrian ambassador to Moscow Werner Elmhofer was summoned on April 11. Moscow strongly objects to Vienna's expulsion of 2 Russian embassy employees in Austria, the Russian Foreign Ministry said today. The unfriendly move from Austrian officials makes bilateral relations more tense, damaging Vienna's neutral position and the foundation of international diplomatic activities. In response, Russia announced that it considered an Austrian diplomat unwelcome and needed to leave the country with a deadline of April 18. We still have other countermeasures, the Russian Foreign Ministry warned. Previously, the Austrian Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced on March 13 that 2 Russian diplomats in Vienna had acted inappropriately for their positions but did not specify, and asked them to leave the country by the deadline of September 19/3. World Thursday, April 11, 2024, 18:05, GMT +7. Russia summoned its ambassador and expelled an Austrian diplomat. We still have other countermeasures, the Russian Foreign Ministry warned. Previously, the Austrian Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced on March 13 that 2 Russian diplomats in Vienna had acted inappropriately for their positions but did not specify, and asked them to leave the country by the deadline of September 19/3. DNA correspondent in Geneva quoted Swiss Foreign Minister Ignazio Cassis on April 11 reaffirming that the country will host an important international conference next June to promote the peace process in Ukraine. With invitations extended to more than 100 countries, the Ukraine Peace Conference seeks to step up global efforts to end the conflict that has lasted more than 2 years in the Eastern European country. In the official announcement posted on social network X, Foreign Minister Ignazio Cassis emphasized Switzerland's commitment to peace. He shared, "Peace is always something we care about. Switzerland's humanitarian tradition will play an important role in this task." In addition, Foreign Minister Cassis emphasized the need for greater efforts to maintain values and responsibilities on the world stage. Previously, the Swiss Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement saying it would hold a high-level conference in June to discuss peace in Ukraine. The announcement was made even though the Russian side repeatedly announced that it would not attend this event. In a new announcement, the Swiss Federal Council stated that the initiative to organize a high-level conference related to the Ukrainian peace process has received appropriate support from many countries. Accordingly, the conference will take place on June 15 and 16 at Begenstock Resort, on the outskirts of Lucerne City. The conference aims to establish a favorable framework for a comprehensive and lasting peace process in Ukraine, as well as a solid roadmap for including Russia in this process. The conference was organized based on the President of Ukraine's 10-point proposal to end the conflict. Secretary of State Cassis once said that the purpose of the conference is to prepare all parties to be ready and transparent to implement the Ukraine peace process with Russia at the appropriate time. Switzerland also seeks to invite Russia to participate in this process. However, the Russian side has repeatedly affirmed its readiness for dialogue, but it must be based on the actual situation and taking into account Moscow's legitimate interests. Meanwhile, Swiss media reported that U.S. President Joe Biden will attend the Ukraine Peace Conference. Although there is no official invitation, the NZZ Daily newspaper quoted reliable sources as revealing that Mr. Biden will attend this event along with high-ranking representatives from dozens of countries around the world. In January 2024, Switzerland mentioned the idea of organizing a peace conference at the request of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and since then has chaired many discussions with the European Union (EU) and other countries. Joined the G7 group with China and India to seek support from these countries. Russia is said to have brought military trainers and air defense systems to Niger under a cooperation agreement between Moscow and the military government in this West African country. Niger state television station RTN reported that military trainers and personnel from the Russian Ministry of Defense as well as the air defense system arrived in Niger on April 10. According to experts, this is another sign that this West African country is building closer relationships with Moscow, like neighboring countries led by military governments. During the broadcast on April 11, RTN showed a military plane unloading cargo while people in military uniforms looked on. RTN reported that this deployment was carried out following a recent agreement between the Nigerian military government and Russia to enhance cooperation, including supporting the Nigerian army in anti-terrorism training. "We came here to train the Nigerian army and develop military cooperation between Russia and Niger," said a man in military camouflage interviewed by RTN. "We have a lot of experience in anti-terrorism operations. And we are here to share this experience with our friends," said another Russian expert. RTN also said that Russia has agreed to install an air defense system in Niger. "Our airspace will now be better protected," the station emphasized. Currently, the Russian side has not commented on the above information.